Hello and welcome back to UB. We're on episode, I believe it's 19 now, guys. I think we're one
Uh,
away from 20.
Damn.
We're
So,
at the stage where it's too high for me to keep track of.
yeah,
So whatever number you
exactly.
tell me it is every week,
Yep.
I will be like, yeah, you're right. That's
Well,
crazy.
normally I check, but I didn't check this time. So I think we're at 19. Uh, if we're not, we're gonna say it's 19. So we're back from our post Thanksgiving break. Hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. We're coming up on Christmas here in a couple weeks, so we're gonna try to jam an episode in this week and maybe next week, and then take another break for the holidays, and then come back after the holidays. So, how's everything gone, guys? Doing doing good. Excited for PQs. Ian, you're flying to Pittsburgh here in 2 days. Sunny Pittsburgh.
I am, man. I'm excited. I looked at the PQ chart of like what PQs were around, and now that I moved to Alabama, I don't have the luxury of having one like every week within 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go to a limited PQ because I still haven't been to one. So I kind of just said F it. I knew that some of the KTOD boys were going to be coming out, and I was like, well, I can't just give you guys a free one. Come on, like I'll make it a little hard for you.
And it's still free.
Hey,
No, it's
we'll see.
so
We'll
it's
see.
it's so funny because like I was pumped for this, PQ anyway because it's limited, it's close. It was going to be a smaller one, so I'm like, okay, I can maybe farm some points, have some fun. I usually do well at the store. Um, and then like Steve and Justin are like, hey, I think that we might come, just to hang out and go to the PQ. I'm like, sweet, sounds fun. You guys get uh, they're getting a hotel. I'll pick them up on the way, and we'll go. And then Ian just a few days ago was like, hey, uh, what are the details? I'm just gonna fly up. So suddenly, this free PQ has turned into like three other very good players, and it should be a fun time regardless. It'll be fun to hang out.
Yeah, for sure,
So
man. I'm excited.
yeah, it'll be fun. Tyler, you just got second in a PQ last week in Jersey to the almighty Ophir. How's it going?
Yep. Great. As expected, a very interesting deck that I've practiced so much. Anakin Data Vault has continued to done well for me. So it'd be silly of me to not keep playing it.
By you
Yeah.
saying you practice so much with it, do you mean that you played it at Beatle and then haven't touched it since, and then played it
Yep.
again at this
Yep.
PQ? I
Yep.
see.
Yep.
Yeah, so you pick it up round one at Beatle, make top cut, and then pick it up again at your next event and get second.
I don't know what that says about if it says more about you, the deck, or both.
Yeah, who knows?
Does that mean I'm supposed to play Mother Talzin at the next PQ? Or
Yep.
yeah, oh,
Yeah,
Good luck.
you're stuck now.
Ooh.
Too bad. CJ, you are just fresh off of your Talladega Nights Thanksgiving party, or whatever it was.
Yeah, great time. Great time. It was a Talladega Friendsgiving party. I think my wife stole it from social media, but it was a lot of friends and family. It was really, really relaxing time. I did miss a PQ because of it, which does stink. I think Steve lost in the finals
Yep.
to one of the locals. So wish I could have been there, but sometimes you got to take a break, right? I plan to go to all the big events. So
Yeah.
rather go to the big ones and miss some little ones, I guess.
Well, it's all your
Yep.
fault that Steve got second. So you
Yeah.
you could have crushed that Palpatine with your Han too, and just stopped all this. But
Well, you don't know what deck I would have played. I could have played like Control,
Thousand, yeah.
Thousand probably does not beat that deck. Actually, Thousand probably just gets
No, absolutely not.
steamrolled.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mickey, did you do anything this past weekend or two?
I got snowed out of a PQ I was going to go to, which
Hmm.
I'm actually kind of thankful for because I had no idea what I was going to play. I was like, Monday I was on one deck, Tuesday I was on a different deck. Every day it was just a different deck, and I was going to be like, all right, I'm going to bring 3 in the car with me and figure it out on the ride. But because of that, I had the pleasure of actually casting the New Jersey PQ that Tyler got second at. So that was a good time. Got to
Nice.
cast with Grumpy and Tower. Always a good time.
Yeah.
So,
Mickey, is it easy to pack that many decks when 90% of the cards are the same?
Am I playing Padme Tarkentown or Quinlan Tarkentown or Han Ford? It's gonna have Tarkentown probably.
Yeah, it's gonna have
Um,
blaster in it. It's gonna have some yellow cards, some red.
Man,
yeah.
man, freaking rotation's gonna do a number on you, and you can't.
When I lose Tarkentown, I don't know what
Tarkentown.
I'm gonna do.
See,
Look, I've been telling
I'm safe for
I,
a while with a data vault.
I got multiple BN boys playing Piet, dude. I'm begging Mickey
did
to just
indeed.
play Piet.
Yeah,
That was
I
And-
yeah.
tried.
Tell your guys to stop doing
Yeah,
that. It's
that's-
not
I
smart to do
tried,
that.
and then I
I had to
lost
go
myself.
deal with Clueless playing it. I freaking
it's
on
wild.
PQ.
So okay,
Did-
so
It's
let's
so fun
just
round 5.
Did you sit him down, Tyler, and be like, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
you got
I
time."
did. I did. During after, I was like, how you playing this? And then he plays me round 5, and I just barely beat him.
yeah, I
Hey, he's
saw.
still top aided.
Yeah,
did.
let's jump into a PQ since that's the first subject anyway. So Clueless top aided in Jersey with Piet. I didn't see exactly how many Piets. It was six Piets made top 8 this past
Yeah,
weekend.
Reflex was another one in one of the Florida
Yeah.
PQs.
That's insane. Like I feel like, look, okay, Piet to me is like this set's Boba. Okay, Boba. I've
different, bro.
always been a Boba hater. I will always be a Piet hater. What you're doing is you're
I'm right there
taking the
with you on
player
Boba.
skill out of their hands and putting it into a deck that
That's
is like
my biggest frustration. with it.
almost brainless. Like there
Well-
are decisions, but the deck is almost brainless.
Can
I
hold
all
on.
right, no, CJ, everyone say their piece about Piet, and then I'll
Okay.
defend myself afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'm not going to be too far against you, Ian. I will agree that it removes a lot of choices. Although it is different from Boba in that when you lose with Piet, it's because your deck didn't want you to win. Which
Yep.
that is even worse in my
Yep.
opinion than Boba. At least with Boba, it's like, oh, my opponent just kind of knew what I was doing and figured out some lines around me. So that's good. When you lose with Piet, it's like, man, I really wish I just drew a ramp spell, or I wish I drew that 8-cost ship when I had Piet flip. Like, I think Piet's actually a little bit more powerful than Boba in what it's doing. It's doing some really broken things, and it does have really good matchups into a lot of the current best decks in the meta. However, even when you have your best matchup, I know because I played it a million times again on Kara into randos, you'll lose some, and then you'll be like, how did I win that? Oh, it's because their deck didn't draw the thing they needed the whole time. And that feels terrible because you're playing yourself, right? You're goldfishing. So it feels very similar to like a combo deck in Magic, a little bit worse just because the card power is a little bit lower in SWU. But that's my general vibe on it. I think it's a very powerful deck. And there is skill in your resource decision, your deck building, and there are some micro decision points that need to be made correctly. But end of the day, it really needs to do its thing. It has, to Ian's, I think he said this before, it has its rocks it needs to count and needs to find those rocks. Got to find them to count them.
Mickey, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so to dovetail off of that and talk about the meta at large, I think the meta right now you can classify as 3 types of decks. You have Han, which is Han. He's just going to cheat and do his cheaty thing. Then you have the green hero mid-range soup decks, which is like your Rays, your Anakins, usually Jet Data Vault decks with Caloran and Queen Amidala and all the busted green hero cards. And then you have these decks that are trying to boom or bust that lose to themselves 20% of the time. So Piet's an example of that, but I think Han 4 is in that camp. I think something like pretty much all the double 1-drop space aggro is just kind of banking on, do I draw double 1-drop into Sanctioner Shuttle? If I do, I win. If I don't, I lose. And there's some stuff on the fringes, like there's some Kira still floating, but that kind of fits into like, it's not hero mid-range soup, but it's more villain mid-range.
It's a Data Vault mid-range deck.
It's a
right.
But there's some interesting stuff. Like I've been peeking at some Gar a little bit, just because like ECL Vader seems kind of powerful right now. Maybe Gar isn't the best shell for that, but that's something I want to be doing. Some of these green hero force decks, because you get the green hero power cards. Like I think Yoda Green's the obvious one to look at, but you have Yoda Data Vault, and I think that's just better. But like Yoda unit's also insane.
There's no better feeling in guard than just slamming an emergency power and be like, "Hey, you
Yeah.
got that? You got the bounce? If not, I'm
Yep.
just gonna hit you for 14."
Yeah.
But
Here
that
we
again,
go.
that's a deck you can luck at, and you can also fit it into the bucket of loses to itself 20% of the time. I've
Yeah,
played a
but it
couple
has
games
less of
with it.
that now, right? Because it has the Vader ECL plan, or it has the emergency
Yeah,
powers
it
plan.
loses to itself
Emergency
less,
powers is a huge ad for that deck.
but it's
Oh, yeah.
still clunky. It's still like I've played
Yeah, yeah.
20-ish games with it at this point now. It's just like kind of a rock counter deck a little bit too of like, all right, I play my 2 drop, I play my 3 drop. Not entirely, but like you're just playing on curve usually until you get to 6 in ECL Vader, and then you can finish them
I
off
would
with a
definitely
wall.
be more scared of a really good player deciding to bring guard ECL
Yeah.
than a really good player deciding to bring Piet.
The
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem, I played a lot of the Gar ECL. I think it's a really cool deck. The problem it has, it when you look at the villain ECL decks in comparison to the hero ECL decks, it has no good ECL in space. Like
Yeah.
if they had a Sabine's tie,
It's like MC30 is
right?
like the only thing, but
Yeah,
it's
you
5.
need it needs a
Yeah.
3. You need a 3
Yeah.
ECL in,
And
right?
the way
It has
Gar builds
none.
around it is like you can ECL, but at least you can 2 drop plus Iden Pilot to kind of
Correct.
mimic it,
Yeah,
but it's not as
I
powerful
think
as
not as powerful,
I
right?
think a card that deck could play, and it's a little slept on, is the 4/4 Nubian thing that gives restore 2 if you have an
Yeah.
official.
Oh,
Official.
Because you
yeah,
have like
interesting.
Director Krennic and stuff that like can live a decent amount of time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Last point on the meta. This is the worst Tarkin Town has ever been. I, as Tarkin Town aficionado, I did not consider Quinlan once for this weekend, which is weird because it did win 2
Growth.
PQs, I believe. But I'm not super high on Tarkin Town right now. I think once the meta, like if we start to see these Palpatines try and go over the top, and then maybe some space decks to duck under, that's when I want to be playing Tarkin Town decks. But if it's just green hero, slam your big guy, I'm
Yeah.
avoiding Tarkin Town right now.
Tyler, we'll go to you here, but before you go, I just want to point out that this past weekend we have results. There were 3 Han ones that won PQs. I think 1 was yellow and 2 was green. Two
Mhm.
two Anakins, 2 Yoda data vaults, 2 Quinlan, 1 Pout Blue, which is the one that beat Steve in the finals. He was on Yoda. 1 Sabe, yellow, or maybe it was red.
It was
I think
Sabe
it was-
Tarkin Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, which is kind of crazy
It's
because
basically Kaz Tarkin Town, but with
yeah,
Sabe for some reason.
right. 1 Kylo, which is
True.
interesting, and then 1 Phasma, which is like, wow.
Best second format, baby.
Yeah. But anyway, Tyler, your thoughts on Piet and the overall PQ meta?
Specifically, Piet, I do think it's a lot similar to Boba, but it's different in the way that Boba was not good. It didn't get you wins against a lot of good players or a lot of meta decks. Piet though will get you wins. It's actually the thing where it's like, all right, here you go. I'm gonna beat you. I'll tell you, it's difficult, especially if they always draw the things they need. There's not much you can do unless you're like specifically built to beat it, and then if you're doing that, you're probably losing to some other meta deck, which is I think the other issue with Gar during our PQ. After like Fear and I like drew after like round, I think like on round 6, there were 4 Gars on the top tables, and then all 4 of them did not make top 8 afterwards. They were all looking very good, but then all fizzled out afterwards, and we were left with the double Anakin, double Yoda that made it into our top 8. So the meta is definitely more of like a kind of like a mix of soup, but it's also like what we've seen throughout the history of this game. It's always been the value mid range piles, the aggro, and then the control. And then except in the control is now blended with the mid range piles. Like the Yoda is kind of our control deck, but you have like inklings of Kira. Like we had a Dedra that did very well. That was just essentially a hard control deck that just got beat up by Ophir, who like beat him twice in like
Yeah,
Swiss
Duncan.
and in
Yeah.
Top Cut.
Hmm.
But there's definitely feelings of all the stuff that we're used to. It's just a little bit different. I think that the biggest difference is definitely the Target Town decks and the ground aggro decks, like Sabine ECL, Sabine Yellow. Like those decks have like really dropped off a cliff. Like the only aggro you'll see people playing is just the pilots. That seems to be the only thing that's like really kind of like breaking forward, which is I would say honestly surprising because I think that red heroes and got a lot of new cards.
I think though the big thing is that Anakin just really shuts those decks out.
Yeah.
Like you
So
cannot stick
so
to the ground.
does like the blue green like Data Vault
Yeah.
decks. Like they just feast on those like Sabine style decks. Like with Bo-Katan too. Like it's hard to say that
Yeah,
like a
Bo-Katan.
9-drop wins these matchups, but like you get to 9 so easily now with these decks. Like with
Mhm.
all the
Well,
restore.
especially Yoda with the resupply carrier.
Yeah. And it's like Bo just comes down and it's like now like they have no shot of winning the game ever. So but one point, that Tyler brought up with the whole Boba versus Piet thing is I feel like Boba always put the onus on your like
Opponent to
opponent.
miss.
Yeah, whereas Piet it's on you, right? It's more of like a proactive deck. So that that is a big difference and does make it better.
Mhm.
Ian, all right.
Okay,
Hit
so
us your thoughts.
my defense of Piet is that I agree with you all that like the deck can just lose to itself. I think that there's like a number of decks that can lose to itself. At the end of the day, it's a ramp deck. All of the ramp decks, when they draw resupply versus when they don't, there's a difference. I think the thing that Piet got this set is just a critical mass of consistency with having Gonk Droid, another 8-drop that's really good, and just before I kind of laughed at Piet because it was so inconsistent where it was like, okay, yeah, you have an 86% chance or whatever of having turn 2 ramp, but then like you really only have one good big ship and it was Devastator, right? Obviously you have 10 cost Devastator, but that's so far away even with Piet
Yeah.
that like you often lost the game even like as long if you didn't find an 8-drop, you lost the game. That really doesn't happen now. You just play 6 copies of an 8-drop, you're going to get there. Um, it to me, it's consistent enough now that it's a viable deck, and yeah, it's gonna have a fail state, but like so does every deck, and I think it is so good when it does its thing against all of the top decks, like all of the Data Vault decks, all of like Anakin, Rey, Yoda. I think it's good against all of those, and I think that you can have a sideboard that is just really good against space hate because you already have a bunch of spaceships, so you just bring in more like low cost spaceships and you bring in confiscates, whatever. Like main deck upgrade hate is probably at its best right now, and you have the droid and the ship that finds the droids to kind of like scam people out of their game plan. It, to me, it was just like the meta, in my opinion, sucks. I hate this meta. It's probably my least favorite. I love this set, but this meta that has like kind of been established is like one of my least favorite because to me it's just like okay, who can go mid range but taller ever like, and it's just like it's like an escalation of hostilities of like who can one up the other person on value. Like, are you gonna play Nemec Karis into or Karis Nemec into Cobb Vanth into Bounty Hunter's Quarry and just like have infinite value and just keep shitting out guys? Or are you going to double ramp into Yoda super early and just have this like giant leader that restores? Or Queen Amidala that just like is 3 bodies on one that really can't die unless you're playing a blue deck. Like there's just so much value on every piece of cardboard now that the only way to attack that, unless you're playing into that game of trying to like one up that deck with just a taller version of that deck, right? Which is probably why that Palpatine won, because who can outvalue Palpatine? Kind of hard. Is you either have to eventually go under them, right? Like everybody's playing all these like really greedy top level decks, so then you're gonna have to go super far under them and just try to like aggro them out, which kind of impossible to do because they have like a million sentinels in both
Yeah.
arenas if they want it. Or you just have to play like their game plan but faster, and that's what Piet does, right? Because he double ramps on his leader. So I don't know. It to me, it's just like that's one of the reasons that I wanted to go to Pittsburgh is because I was just like, I'm fed up with this meta. Let me go play limited.
Yeah.
Because it's just I don't know.
No, I mean I know what you're saying, and I I agree to an extent. Like the format right now, the meta is mostly just mid range soup, like mostly blue green, but like these palp decks are kind of wild too. Like they're playing Colossus now, which is like
Yep.
the ultimate greed. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if something like Anakin Colossus came back like because this meta is like so mid-rangey. If
Mhm.
if you just start with more life than everyone and still have the same grindy cards, like you're probably at somewhat of, an advantage. So,
Well, eventually, like
we'll see.
Vigilance is gonna have to make an appearance, right? Like, that's how you beat the Infinite Grind Fest decks. The problem
Kind
is
of.
everybody's playing Data Vault, so like the mill
Exactly.
plan really isn't super
Yeah.
I
consistent.
think
And
I
tech, and like
well,
you can't really mill out a tech deck.
I know we kind of brushed aggro aside, but I do think aggro could find a spot. There is an issue though, right? To beat those data vault decks, you can just go back to the old school plan of just suiting up your guys in space, right? Just slam the Chewy, slam the wing leader, just really force them to have an answer for you. And that works pretty well against like the Yodas and the Rays. You got to play like Fang Fighters and stuff to answer the entrenches. But that is the issue is all the other decks, all the red green decks are all playing all the main deck upgrade
Upgrade
hate
it, yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
because they can for
Yeah.
free. It doesn't
It's
cost
like-
them anything.
And like
Well,
Han
you-
1 Green gets to play Confiscate main if they want. Like,
the
Yeah, and
number of
Bamboozle,
times
and, like,
I've
yeah.
been looking at Traitorous and being like, this would be so good right now if these decks weren't playing Outer Rim Constable mains, which I think I have a whole opinion on Data Vault where I think it leads to kind of toxic deck building habits where like,
They just throw in random stuff.
yeah, you get. I think I put it in the team chat or a local chat or something where I was like, yeah, you're getting a benefit for including these cards in your deck that either win you the game 10% of the time or do nothing 90% of the time. And you just get them for
Yeah.
free with a boost.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's so funny. I love when you bring up that it's toxic because like so many. I've been playing Han 1 Green a lot this week, and just like
Mhm.
sometimes you have to just slam the Chewy and to the Anakin, and when they don't have it, you're like, okay, you didn't have it, and they're like, oh well, I have it in my deck. I'm like, you're playing
You're
60
playing
cards.
Data Vault, yeah.
So like,
Like-
yeah, cool. Like
Data Vault will get you.
It
Right.
also increases the feel bads in the gameplay though of like I have these 60 cards, I put them in my deck, but it increases the variance of the games, which I also don't think is like a great play pattern to encourage. So I think like Colossus is the way to do an extra HP base where it's like a real tangible sacrifice in gameplay, but
Yeah.
only having a sacrifice in deck building, I think, is a little.
I mean, Colossus
wouldn't-
seems great when like discard hand hate is like at its lowest it's ever been.
Non-existent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like there's so many cards now that just draw more cards and get more value that like
Mhm.
starting with the 35 and 5 cards isn't that much of a drawback when you're not being punished by like the Sabine decks.
But even just
So-
from like a visceral experience of playing the game, you do feel it when you only get to draw 5 and then have to resource 2 of those cards.
I
It's like
agree.
a
I
real
hate Colossus.
tangible
Oh,
sacrifice.
especially when like you go, oh, okay, it's all right. I have my power of the dark side, and they're like Nemec, and you're like, okay, all right. I started with less
Scoop 'em up.
cards, and okay, can't win.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah, I actually cut, going back to the point about like the upgrade hate, I actually cut the entrenches from the raid deck and all the blue green decks now.
Yeah.
Because it's
Good.
just like it was good for like one event, and then now it's like
At least with the entrenches, you can put on your own guys, and it only costs you 2.
Yeah.
Like Traitorous, you just lose the game. You just
Yep.
spend
Right.
your entire
Yeah, yeah.
5 resources, and they get
You-
the guy back to hit you with.
Instantly lose.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
just
but I
instantly
keep looking at it
lose.
because it's such a good answer against so many of
Uh,
these decks. But in like the 20% of cases, they have or it's probably higher than 20%. But the percent of games where they have it, it's just like, all right, I'm gonna play this Traitorous, and either I win or I lose.
Right.
And it just feels like a lot of the gameplay is
Yeah.
either in deck building or in gameplay is lending that direction right now.
I agree. So we'll see where the meta goes as we move on in the weeks here.
Oh, I have a quick question.
yeah.
Sorry, slight tangent. Do you guys think that this, because a lot of this, I think, is from the new cards. Like these new cards from this set actually have affected the meta. Do you think that post rotation? I know we have set 7 that we don't really know a lot about. Do you think that this type of gameplay will be like it will continue to the next set, or is it going to be like an actual reset? Like, I feel like the power level of things like Nemekaris, Captain Typho, Queen Amidala, like those cards are just so good that even if set 7 is a banger and has the power level of set 1, like those cards are still going to shine, and we could end
Yeah,
up being in
they'll
a
be
similar
very
meta
good, but the
with
problem
Sakari,
is
right?
is that there's no more resupply and no more ramp. So you're playing these cards fairly on curve.
But like
Well, you got-
Anakin's
you got
already
the
doing
tokens
that.
maybe with set
Yeah,
7.
so, like,
The
credit
issue,
tokens.
though, I think the bigger issue is that we won't have the leaders. Like, you need
Yeah.
Anakin to play the Anakin deck. You're gonna need Yoda to play the Yoda deck.
Uh,
I
You'll
think
have all
Luthien
these
is like a
good
pretty
value
good
cards.
B tier Anakin.
No, like here's
I
what
agree.
I'm
You need
worried
to
about.
pump. It
I
just the
think that-
value of trading is good and all, but
I think that's all very true, but what I'm worried about is all these leaders are going to suck, and we have all this value engine, and we don't have the powerful stuff, so we're just going to be playing an even more boring value-based game. But
Yeah,
we're not
that is true.
resupplying. We're actually just playing. Here's my 2/4. Here's my 3/5 Sentinel. Here's my
'Cause
4/5 Sentinel, and then we just
finding ways to get value from like those on curve. Like
at least now, like
it's just
crazy
weird.
stuff happens. Like Piet does ramp into crazy stuff. Game ends. Like at least like that's kind of fun. Like
Yeah,
I'm worried what we get to a point where we're just playing the boring leaders. And
my
I don't know,
biggest
we'll see.
fear is all the green hero stuff is sticking
Exactly.
around,
I was
minus
just gonna
like
say.
home one and U-wing, but like you have Caloran and Queen to replace all that. You don't need it, and Data Vault sticks around, and
Yeah,
those two
but, like-
together.
I think the
like,
only
the thing
salvation is
is-
literally the pilot decks, because like you lose Bamboozle and some upgrade hate, and now like the pilot decks are the salvation of the mid range soup.
Yeah, you lose Tarkin Town. And some of those. Is
I don't
like-
think blue green hero is even going to be remotely playable like post rotation.
Without Luke,
We have to
and-
see set 7, but there's no more resupply, no more Luke, no more home one. Like, what does this deck even look like now? Set 7
get
really
Bo-Katan
has to
still.
have.
Bo-Katan.
Yeah, but like
Uh,
you can't ramp into her now. It's like
do you remember? Do
I'm
you
sure
remember?
maybe they
I-
just make
if
it
you
so that
can
you
stall,
ramp on
you doesn't
4,
matter.
right? Like a 4 cost resupply.
Do you not remember
Yeah.
set 1 playing against that stupid that green blue Luke deck? Do you want to just do that all the time? You know how boring that was. Where it
There's
was
a
like,
reason. So my local meta at that point, at the end of set 1, it got to the point where everyone was playing like Krennic green 30, and then I just played green Palpatine the entire time to go even more over the top of all this shit. So like, yeah.
I don't know. But
All
I
right,
mean,
well,
that's a
maybe
good
they'll give
question.
us some
Local was
sick
very different.
battlefields that changed the whole game, right?
Yeah,
We'll
that's a
see.
good question. We'll have to see what set 7 brings, but it's supposed to be a big set for them because it's the first set that all of their new devs really worked on. So we'll see,
I think
see what it looks like.
I think moving into our next topic though, and to discuss on set 7, and that the doom and gloom I think is going to be very much revolving around this set 7. If we
Well-
get rotation, if the cards come out and this is the big hit, I think everyone is now panicking like, oh my god, the game is dead, it's all over, we're all screwed, everything's bad, cards are worth nothing, nobody goes to locals, Star
Well,
Wars is dead.
Let's jump right into that topic. Tyler, I have been seeing everywhere. I can't even go in Discord anymore without seeing every day. Swoo's dead. It's dying. Like after this next set, it's done. What do you have to say?
I don't have the perfect like it's gonna be all great, like unfortunately I can't see the future. I will be here playing the game until the last person leaves. The classic meme, if there's only one fan, it is me. I will be playing the game no matter what. I think the biggest issue with all the doom and gloom is the two fronts. It's been the packs have not felt great to open, and people, all the people have complained about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about
And
that later.
the amount of players at local events. I don't know how it is for your guys, but back in like set 1, you had at least around here, like the New Jersey area, we had a lot of stores that had local events that were firing like 15 to 20 people. After set 1, it kind of dropped down to like 8 people. And then into now, like the rest of set 3, there's 2 stores in New Jersey that essentially get repetible, like, people, either Bearded and Red Steel, like they're the North store and the South store, and that's it. And no one else goes to locals besides those 2. And everyone that's a classic, anyone person that's played any of their game, they'll be like, oh, there's no locals. Like I've heard people on stores like post on Reddit be like, oh, the game's dying. Like there's like one fake post like, oh, the director of the game said the game is dead, it's over. It was like just talking about such bullshit. And I don't necessarily know if the local situation is a real problem. I definitely think it is, for like for newer release players getting in. But I still seen so many other people that are new that are just, they'll join off, stream watching McClunky, see the games, and they'll get into Discord, they'll join the thing that there's still people there, the game's still finding more. I would like to say hopium and be like, our audience is just so adult that people don't have time to go to the locals weekly, like all of us here, like we're not going to go to locals because we're going to go and play a PQ this weekend and stuff like that. But I don't know. I can't unfortunately say the true answer, but I think that it's one of those two
No,
reasons why.
you make good points. Like the life cycle of a TCG is about 2 years usually. Like most games don't last more than 2 years. Um, for locals, like especially after the first year, they kind of start to die down. That's just like the cycle of card games. And these past few years, I I feel like there's been a new card game that has come out every other month. And
Cyberpunk just announced one, dude.
yeah, so you always have to find ways to keep it fresh. I think Star Wars has done a pretty good job for the most part. I mean, the events are set, like all of the larger events are still selling out. Like they do
Mhm.
have to fix pack issues that we'll talk about later. But I have no concern at all for the future of Star Wars, at least for the next year or two. Past that, we'll talk about that when we get there. But right now, I'm totally fine with it. CJ, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I mean, people need to calm down a little bit, right? I don't like doom and gloom's not the right response. The game's got at least another year, I would say. It's hard because I think this is a lot of people's first TCG, so that they haven't experienced this kind of ebb and flow. It's very common. You see it across multiple games. Are there problems? Most certainly, there are issues. I really hope they're learning from them. I'm not 100% sure though if they are or not. There's been some kind of weird, strange decisions that have been happening that just keep repeating themselves. But if they do truly like start formulating a plan and fixing some of the future issues, I do think the game can live a little bit longer than the average TCG for sure. I mean, even Destiny lasted longer than 2 years, and that one was doomed from the start. So like I think we got a couple more years. It's a fun IP. I'm excited for the ride. The game's still great. They just got to fix some things. I think we've talked about it, but in my opinion, the biggest issue still is the actual card rarity issue that they have. They can't seem to figure it out. And the cards that are good, they seem to just make a million different variants of it instead of like be just leaning into that and making variants of like good cards but commons and uncommons, right? So like I think we were talking about it on our Discord today, actually. I think Ophir brought it up. It's like, why does Anakin, the legendary Anakin, have 30 different versions? How can that physically be worth any money ever when it has so many options? Or Queen, how can it be the best legendary in the set, but everyone gets them for free by going to their local? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like I the other day, I like not to compare to another game, but I did get some packs of Avatar from Magic the Gathering the other day, and I
Mhm.
opened them, and it was a rush opening those packs, man. There's
Yeah.
like a $60 mythic I opened, and I'm like, holy moly, this is amazing. And like there's rares that are worth $10. There's uncommons worth $5 to $8. And it's not just because the game's popular, it's also because they do a good job with their rarity and their pack distributions, right?
Yeah.
You're not that Badger Mole card is not going to be an FNM promo, right? They're not going to do that because they understand they have to keep the value of that to be something relevant. They'll
Mhm.
reprint it in a couple of years, but they understand there's a give and take here. And I think for SWU, they're still making some mistakes there. But
Yeah. No,
as long as they're
I
taking
agree.
feedback and learn from it, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But didn't they just take feedback from us on making promos better?
Yeah.
I
Like,
know.
isn't that kind of like in conflict with that? Like, we want the promo to
So
be
the problem is we
vanilla.
just need a density of good legendaries that you can make promo and also be chase.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I
The,
agree with that for
the,
sure.
the best promo in Destiny, you know what the best promo was? It was an uncommon.
Yeah, they could make
Just
really good promos, like be like the
why
really
why are
good
there not
chase
30 versions
staple
of
common and
resupply?
uncommons. Right.
I would pay like $20 for a promo Plo Koon. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go, Plo
Right.
Koon.
Yeah.
Like this,
You don't
like
have to make your best card in every set your promo. Your
Imagine
showdown
like a
promo,
promo
or
force
whatever.
throw and force throw is everywhere.
that would have been insane.
Yeah. So yeah, I
Power of
mean
the Dark Side.
those are
Yeah.
That doesn't even have a play promo, does it? Like, what are we
No.
talking about?
pack issues
Like,
are one thing. You did kind of remind me too that like prizing is also somewhat of an issue still too. I mean, like I don't want to point to like other games because other companies can do things that probably Lucasfilms won't let us do. But Riftbound and their regional had one of one metal 3D leaders. All right. Like they have leaders just like us.
So it's just the highest. It's similar with how our regionals and
Sectors and
sectors are, where
regionals,
it's like
yeah.
the highest placing
Highest
person with that
placing
leader.
gets their leader. Like,
showcase, and they got
So I don't understand why FFG hasn't thought of this. It's like, oh, why don't we just make the top finisher get this really unique art piece? It doesn't have to be metal. It doesn't have to be
Mhm.
3D. Just make it unique. Make it so like
Yeah.
only this person has it.
Because like the art on the
that's really
Riftbound ones
cool.
are the same. It's just literally materially different, and
Yeah,
that's the
it's
difference.
metal. It has some weird 3D foiling.
Yeah.
Like they look kind of whatever to me. I mean, they're cool, but like they kind of look whatever. But they're just unique, right? Like
Mhm.
people want that, and they're like, I mean, I don't want to, point to value here because people pay stupid money for stupid things, but they're
Yeah.
like 5 figures. Now,
Yeah.
Star Wars will never reach a 5 figure card, but like it would be cool to get something to be like, oh, if I don't want this, maybe I can get a few $1,000s for it. Like
So
it's the
how
only
much
one
do
in
you think?
existence.
How much do you think that is from the hype of like Riftbound coming out? The product's really hard to get right now. The tournament was hard to get into. Like, I remember back when Set One came out, and it was really hard to get product and all that stuff. If there was a regional level event 2 months after Set One came out, and they had that type of promo, I could see that promo going for $30,000
I don't know
I
about
think
because
it could
it's
be.
riding
I
off of
think
But-
it could be in
coattails.
SWU too, though.
Yeah,
Honest,
but that's the thing though. I think you just nailed it there, Ian. They didn't do that.
No, I agree.
They should have.
I always
because
said that
then
they
you
should
could
have
have been
immediately
been
done
riding that
tournaments
hype
in
still.
Set One.
Right, we could have been
Yeah,
still
yeah.
riding that hype.
Because you need to keep people's attention span, like especially in the internet age, man. Like,
I think
yeah, I don't know.
another weird problem that I don't think is talked about a lot. It's weird because a lot of TCGs, especially Magic, are having the opposite problem, but I think sets release too slow right now. Like, because we're getting previews for a Lawless Time already, and we just started PQ season, and PQ season's lasting another 2.5 months. And so we're going to be drip fed a Lawless Time. And so by the time we get to that actual format, we're going to be fatigued with both this format and the upcoming format because we've already seen like such a slow release of the cards.
Yeah.
I think that's an issue that as well.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add, Mickey, on like the whole?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. One, I still personally believe, and I at least hope that like there's a reason that this game exploded at the beginning like it did. I still feel like there's a magic there somewhere in the system itself and in the people that play the game. And so like there's reasons to come back, and so it's more evaluating why are the reasons that people are leaving or not playing. And it could be a combination of a lot of things. I think part of it is like fatigue of the format. I know a lot of people locally are like, I'm sick of Han still being the best thing to be doing. And that's another part of like, all right, the cards past Set One haven't been interesting or exciting or different enough. Part of it could just be timing. Like it's the holidays, people have less time, people have less money because they spend it on gifts and stuff, and so they might not be able to get out to play as much. I know locally, huge shout outs to Ben, one of my locals. He organized a group of us that are like, we've been having issues getting locals to even fire for a variety of different reasons. And he's like, all right, we got to get a collective group of like the 6 or 8 of us that are core that play this game often and agree to show up at certain points just to like support this game. And so having community leaders like that to help support the game can also really help. If there isn't one in your area, don't be shy. You can at least help try and organize that or be that for your community. I think that's a big deal. And then we've already touched on the pack issues, which I think is a big deal as well, but just like even less so from just opening the packs and like having the packs be good. Just like the better the packs are, the more excitement there is around the game. The better the cards are, the more excitement there is around the game. The better the events, the more excitement. So just like increasing one little knob. I think it's hard to pinpoint a single issue as to why people are so doom and gloom. And everyone's going to have a different thing in mind that is their main reason why the game is dying. And so you just kind of have to turn the knobs a little bit one by one, and you start to rebuild the tower of cards. And yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. Ian, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't buy the doom and the SWU is dying argument from anybody. Like,
Yeah.
even price of boxes aside, like I don't think that that's necessarily a metric that means that the game only has X amount of life left.
Mhm.
All of that can be corrected. All of that is like kind of it just always ebbs and flows. Like I think a lot of that is just based on Carbonite existing. Kind of wish that they had just kind of nixed that completely. I mean, they're making a lot of changes to it that I think are going to be helpful. But in general, I think that the entrenched players like us who've been playing the game since the first set are all still here. Like I think that the core group of people are still here. And what they really need to do is try to have more new player outreach and get more people into the game. And that any card game should be doing that, really. And I think one way to do that is look for like an online platform to actually have their own like online version of SWU. There's a lot of people that will pick up video games even if they don't want to play the game in paper, but that facilitates things. Another option to like increase new players is one of the things that they're going to be doing this year, which is the Twin Suns starter decks, like having that casual uh, format and providing direct support for that format is like they should have done that a year and a half ago or when the game came out realistically.
Yeah. Or set two,
it,
maybe. Yeah.
yeah, whatever it is, right? Like they should have really just launched that with it. Like if you had this idea for a format and you really liked it, you should have just supported it from the beginning. I'm glad they're still doing it now, though. I think that will be super helpful. Like I think a lot of it is just seasonal blues, and people want to be upset at something, and there's nothing else going on in their lives, so they
Yeah,
just
it's
want to be upset. Um, I the Beatle stream that we did at the end of October, was it, or was it the beginning of November? I forget. Time's weird, but we had like 500 people watching the stream. Granted,
yeah.
there was like no other event going on that weekend. It was like first weekend of the set, but like 500 people were watching that. That's a lot of people. There's some of the regional streams, or like sector streams, had less than that. Like
Yeah.
there is a large amount of people playing this. Um, I don't know.
No,
Like
you
I think all
you
the
make it
CareBass
good.
data, like or online platform that we can't say, uh, those things, like you can look at the numbers. I think it's consistently the same numbers. Like obviously that doesn't mean that people are going to be going to tournaments, but
Right.
um,
But
I,
people are playing the game, and I think you made a really good point when you said that like it's seasonal blues and people just are looking for something to be upset about. Like store owners and whoever are seeing boxes at like $40-$50, and yes, that
yeah, and
that is a
it's the
problem.
end of the year for them, so they're
Yeah.
like, I need to get rid of these so that my end
Right.
of year profit looks better or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like
But like that doesn't mean that the game is dying. Like people are still playing. They're still going to events, and the boxes and packs and value can still be corrected.
yeah, I
So
I would be shocked if this game doesn't last 5 years. That would
I
be a
would be as
shock to
well.
me.
Yeah. I was thinking someone asked me last year how long I thought Star Wars would last, and I said 5 years. So, you know, if
Minimum
it's
for me.
yeah.
Like I could see it going 10 years. Like maybe with a much smaller player base,
Hmm.
8 years from now. But like,
Yeah.
who knows? I don't know.
We'll see.
When talking back on like what Mickey said there, like the magic, the seeing the spots of magic when the game first came out, I saw those spots of magic. I saw
Yeah.
the excitement and the hype. It happened in Vegas. It happened in Galactics. Every single person there was going crazy. Anyone wanted every single promo they could get their hands on. The lightsabers were going for like four figures. Like
Yeah.
everything was going perfectly in that moment. And there's no reason why it won't continue. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was only
I mean, I sold
6
my
months ago,
lightsaber.
half a year.
I sold my lightsaber pack, I think, in September for 2000. It was $1,900,
Yeah.
which is like
Yeah, like,
awesome.
Yeah.
and those weren't that even good of promos. Like we
Right.
get
Like
But it's
as cards, yeah.
only top
anything.
64, and it was
Yeah.
9 cards,
And
so
there's
you got
there's
to sell it
only
all.
that many in existence.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
we get like a crumb in the future, and you'll see it'll just explode. The people are there that I want to collect. I've seen them. I met them in Vegas, where I sold cards to them. You see them online. Like there are people exist out there. They just don't like what's happening right now, and I think
well,
that we're gonna
if
they'll
there
come back.
are collectors, I have some very rare top 4 promo rays that need a good home. So, but anyway, we'll move on to the next topic here. Is that so? Shout out to Bobby Sapphire, our teammate, CJ and I's, Mike. He put out a video 2 weeks ago now about the whole doom and gloom stuff, which he has some very good points as well, if you want to check that out. And also, he kind of dropped a bomb that he has an inside scoop that eternal PQs are starting with set 7. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because, like, obviously we don't have like exact confirmation. Like we do, but we don't, kind of
Yeah,
deal.
just rumors.
Yeah. Rumors. But let's just talk about it just briefly, and then we'll talk about it more once it actually comes up in set 7. But what do you guys think about, Eternal as a whole? Do you think it's a good idea for the game? Do you think it's a bad idea? What do you think? CJ, I'll start with you for this.
I think it's an amazing idea. I think it's one of the best things that Magic has going for it are the multitude of eternal formats they have access to, and you can say whatever you want about the different popularity of each one at any given season. But when modern is at its peak in Magic and it's hitting in all cylinders and it's got a big event coming like Worlds, like people are playing it, people are buying the cards. It's a great way to have cards in your collection go up in value, right? And actually see real money from it, right? Like people that were selling their collection before this announcement, if the announcement is coming, they're going to be pretty upset when we see Luke skyrocket in price, when you see Vader skyrocket in price. These cards that will become better over time and staples in some of these decks that you will need to have access to that are not being reprinted for a long time, right?
Yeah, that we know of anyway.
Yeah, not only that, but I saw new cards from this next set that have like the mix of colors, right? Like there's one card that is really good in Hera and Hera's rotating, but like it might be good enough to make Hera legit. I think it was like the new Zeb, where
Mhm.
like it's kind of crazy in Hera, like mono green ECL. It's kind of a nuts card in that. And
Yeah.
like maybe that's good enough to make that an eternal deck. Like things like that are why I'm really excited about it, right? You can look, oh, I'm upset because Django is going to be everywhere, blah, blah, blah. That might not be the best deck after all these new cards keep getting added, right? And older strategies that were not quite good enough just keep getting new things like, oh, Phasma kind of stinks. And all of a sudden there's like a random first order guy, and you're like, wait a second, this is insane, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, and
You
that's
know
what I'm
what?
excited
they'll
for.
probably
You know what?
drop a ban list too, right when set 7 for
I hope
Eternal.
they don't. I hope they
they
Yeah,
don't.
I hope they don't.
Let
I,
it play out and then make your own once you figure
I'm
it out.
actually like
Yeah.
really confident that Boba would not be a problem if it was released into the format currently. Like I don't see that deck ever beating Anakin or Yoda ever.
I mean, it's also way different when you have force throws, right? Like, so
Yeah.
like
Yeah, true.
it's like it's gonna be
I was
kind of
about to say,
like
give me
I'm
my first
excited.
round
It's
back.
gonna
Yeah,
like I
you
think it's
talk
gonna be
about
crazy.
like people getting so like tired of the format right now, and we're gonna get the time. You add a second format on that is going to be so wildly different than what we'll be playing after set 7. Like it's just two different things, and you can pick and choose which one you like. You don't have to like both. It's how it's worked in Magic. You never have to
Yeah.
like both, but like it'll just be something nice.
I can't wait for like a set 7 Eternal PQ when I can just go Wild West and play whatever I want. Like Django, here we come. I still have like Django stuff. I didn't get rid of it. It's
Yeah, I
as
got
with the dark
diamond hands for my
raids.
Django
And
showcase,
you
baby.
you know what no one's gonna be doing in an eternal format? Lazy deck building and throwing confiscates in their main deck and stuff. You will not have room, right? You will
Yeah,
not
true.
have room
Mm-hmm.
to be like, oh, I'm gonna run these 3 confiscates for that one deck that might be playing a dark saber over there, or that one pilot deck. Like it's gonna be too broad. You're not gonna be able to, and that's gonna allow so many different things to kind of sneak in. Like I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Mickey, what about you? Are you excited to play Tarkin Town forever?
Yes. I'll just sit in the eternal queues playing Quinlan Tarkentown with my force throws until the day I die or this game dies, and we'll see which one comes first. Probably, hopefully, the game. Just
Yeah, hopefully.
but real talk, I do think I like Eternal a lot. I like being able to play all these old cards. I'm just a verified number 1 hater of triple dark raids, so I hope that card goes. But like that's the kind of, part of it too is just getting these cards off the ban list, which if they wanted to shake up Premiere is a way they could do it. But and that's a whole other topic of like discussing what the eternal ban list might have to or should look like. But in general, as a whole, like there's a contingent of players that are upset that rotation is happening because it like devalues your cards and they think rotation's a bad idea. But there's a reason it exists in Magic. It's like it's healthy for the meta, it's healthy to keep change, and having these eternal formats kind of mitigates the issue of collections devaluing, like CJ said. I will say, I think FFG should still emphasize Premier over Eternal. I think it's important to consolidate the player base a little bit in terms of like, standard still. I mean, it's debatable in Magic right now, but standard for the longest time was kind of the premier format, and it's like good to have an entry level constructed format that you don't have to like go get a backlog of 5 years down the line, Luke Skywalker's like $80 because they haven't printed Spark of Rebellion. It's still one of the best cards in the game.
I will say though, as a competitive player, there's something really cool about being like, yeah, we'll play Premier for like 3 years. You don't touch Eternal, and then all of a sudden it's like Worlds is Eternal, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, what's why I built Cloud Post, and no one
I
thought of it.
agree.
The pros weren't looking. Now we're looking, and this deck's broken. Let's go. Like
I do
cool.
want like a regional. Maybe there's a regional that's Premier.
I think
limited and then
World
Battle
should
Ones.
always be Premier, but having like a regional every year being Eternal is great.
And like
That would
some
be awesome.
my thought.
EV3 Eternal.
Oh, we do
Let's
limited.
We just need a
Premier.
third format, and we can do 3 different formats, man.
Yeah.
Well, they'll draft it. Your third teammate drafts.
You just do steel deck.
Third teammate seal deck.
My random number that comes to head is like 60 to 65% of events should still probably be Premier, just to like have some consolidation of player base, and like they need to move new products, and an entry level format of a constructed level is good for new players that want to hop into the game later down the life cycle.
Well,
but
what they get
overall,
to
I think
do
it's
though,
really
Mickey, is
exciting.
that they want to be able to push the new product, but they also want to be able to push reprint product, right?
Yes.
Like event
Yeah.
down the
Yeah.
line, like I mean that might be what that icon set is that we found out
Mhm.
about like 2 weeks ago or whatever. Like that might be just a reprint set. It's not legal for Premiere. It's just, hey, here's some extra Spark Rebellion cards or
like
whatever.
like the
And-
way
and-
Danny was talking on stream today is he said that he helped design that set. So
So
when
it's new cards.
when he used the word design, that made me think, okay, well then I guess it's not all reprints. There still could be some.
Yeah,
but
I'm
like,
sure like a
you
year
know.
from now they might think about doing like an Eternal Masters or something.
And like,
you know?
if you look at other games that do Eternal formats, it's not too much of a barrier because there's so many decks that are still dirt cheap. You can build some of the combo decks in Magic for next to nothing.
Yeah.
You can build Burn for next to nothing in every format, and it's still very competitive. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, there'll be some staple decks that you will be priced out of, but that's not a bad thing for the health of the
not at
actual
all.
game.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing. But
Yeah, I agree.
we'll see.
It's just
Ian,
good to have the options. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Eternal, Ian?
I love it. In Magic. I played mostly Eternal formats, so huge fan of that coming. I think rotation is going to be a breath of fresh air for the Premier format. And then if you do get tired of Premier, you can go play Eternal, or if you're tired of Eternal, you can go play Premier. It's an amazing cycle that you can do. Of just like, oh, I'm tired of one format, go do another. That's literally why I'm flying to Pittsburgh, so that I can play this game, just not Premier.
I mean, it's not to see me.
Well, obviously that was a big a point of interest for me in terms of which limited PQ I went to. No, but like, yeah, it's in general just like Eternal formats are great. Obviously, like they can screw it up, but hopefully they don't. Like, hopefully it isn't done in a poor way. I know that when Mike had made the announcement about Eternal, that there was some confusion about like, oh, is it like a set amount or whatever? And then I think he clarified in the K2D Discord that what he was told, that it's going to be like an option, just similar to how stores right now are given an option of if they want to do a limited PQ or a premier PQ,
Yeah.
which I think is actually the perfect way to introduce it, because
Right.
if there's like a store that has a player base that really is super into Eternal, like they get to choose what their local people want to play,
Yeah.
which like kind of is nice, because then it's like maybe they have an advantage against the out-of-towners.
That's
that come
kind
in,
of
right?
how it works, but it's also kind of not how it works. So
Okay.
like the way it works, and my store told me this, like he walked me through the process. You put in what formats you want to do. So like you'll say either limited or premier, right? You send that to them, and then they will tell you what format your PQ is. So they control how many, like,
Sure.
there
So if
are in the
everybody
country.
chooses Eternal, they're going to be like, all right, we can't have that.
Yeah, like maybe you 10 are, but
Yeah.
the rest of you are something else. But
It'd
yeah,
be cool if they could have different prizes too, based on the ones. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
Eternal could have like some staple,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
Power of a Dark
promo.
Side
Yeah.
promo,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That would be really
that'd
cool.
be sick. Great idea. If anyone's watching, do that.
Jack.
Please.
Yeah, Jack. So, Tyler, thoughts on Eternal?
So, as you've probably heard, I love Eternal. I love the talk of this, and I come from Magic, and the only thing I played was Eternal formats, and we've all sat here and talked about it. There's a issue though with the word Eternal, and I want that issue to be different for SWU. And that Eternal, when we talk about these things, I don't know if everyone here is kind of moving it, but Eternal just means the formats that can cover the entirety of the game. And there's 4 formats in Magic. There's Vintage, Legacy, Commander, and Pauper. Everything else is not Eternal. Those are the 4 Eternal formats. And because they're Eternal, they cover everything. And there's an issue in those formats because I play Legacy and I play Legacy a lot. And it has a current issue right now in that it's being currently plagued by cards that were not built for it and not meant for it. And with this new onset of Twin Suns decks and stuff for Twin Suns, I'd like whatever we call this new format. FEG is going to come up with probably a name. I imagine won't be a call Eternal. I would love it for it to be a non-rotating. I want it to be a non-rotating format that only allows premier cards. I don't want it to be like Eternal. I don't want it to have it include everything that's within SWU. I don't want any product that's meant for Twin Suns down the line to be allowed in it. I want to play things that were meant for 1v1.
Tyler, what was that commander card? True Name Nemesis. Do you remember that? How fun that
was like the first one.
That was the first
like
one.
True problem card.
It was like, this is multiplayer, but you're my opponent.
Actually, I think
right?
Scavenging Ooze was one of them too.
Oh,
that card got printed into standard afterwards,
yes,
but that was originally a
one of
commander
the
card.
first commander decks. Yeah.
Minskip was one of the most busted cards ever printed, and it says it can be your commander at the bottom of it.
So good points, Tyler. I don't want to cut you off there, but we are running short on time, so I want to cut.
I do just want to make a one note though that it is one of the benefits of Eternal. One of the benefits of Eternal is that by having a format where premier cards weren't developed for interactions with old cards, that is the reason to play it, right? Because that's when you get like the wacky Hera is somehow the best deck, right?
Yeah,
like,
I think
we can have another
awesome.
third.
Yeah,
we can have a third format done right now.
We
had it down the line, a third format down the line. I don't want it to be a precedence where we have just everything shoved in.
I agree
because we'll run into a situation where they're going to print some leader that's meant for like multiplayer, and it's like busted, and it's like, why do we have to now suffer because of this? Just because I've done so many times in Legacy.
No, I know what you're saying. So the last topic is about the packs that were talked about on stream today. So the big news is that, guys, they are finally getting rid of standard foiling. Praise the Lord. Praise the SWU lords. Like, I have in my closet to my right here, I have like thousands, and I mean thousands of like standard foils.
These Pringles?
Yeah, that I will never use. In fact, I've started to just throw some away and trash because like they just won't ever get played. So they're finally getting rid of those. Carbonite packs are the big change. There's some serialized cards that are now out of 50, some out of 100. I still think that that's too many, but like, maybe those would be worth something. Who knows? The packs for Carbonite now have 8 hyperspace, I want to say 7 or 8 hyperspace, and then the rest hyperspace foil.
I think it's 8 and 6. Yeah.
Yeah. It's 8, 6, and then 2, of course. Fewer showcase leaders. Thank you. Like, I know that might piss some people off that want cheap showcases, but like, I feel like having expensive cards, as CJ has mentioned several times, is good for the game. So just don't be broke, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I feel like these are all good changes all around. I'm curious on your guys' thoughts. Ian, we'll start with you for this one.
Yeah, I thought the stream was amazing. Like, I thought that they were going to stop announcing new changes, and then they were like, oh, and one more new change. Oh, and one more new change. And it was just like more and more and more. And then at the end, they announced that rare bases, not for set 7, but for set 8 and forward,
beyond,
that the rare bases will be in the base slot and not in the rare slot, which I know a lot of people have been complaining about. I personally didn't really care about
I
it,
didn't
but I
care
know
either, but that's
it
cool.
was a
Yeah.
big community feedback thing.
Hey,
So
they
it's like
listened.
they are hearing the feedback, they're listening, they're making the changes. Like personally, like I said earlier, I wish that Carbonite was altogether gone because I just don't think that the game has enough like collectible people, like people who want to collect the game yet to like really have that be a product that makes sense. But if they are going to have it, I do like the change that they got rid of all the foils. Hyperspace is like I prefer playing with hyperspace normal cards like
Same.
that.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Mhm.
So I'm glad that I can go buy a Carbonite box and get 8 guaranteed hyperspaces in it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Back. Yeah.
Um,
I agree.
that's really cool. I wish that they. I don't know if I like the prestiges in normal cards because I think it's gonna make or normal packs. Sorry, I think it's gonna make the prestiges kind of defunct. Like they were supposed to only be in one product and now they're in multiple.
Yeah, but
But maybe they're rare
it
enough in
it's
normal
like
packs it doesn't
one
matter.
per box ish, maybe like one and a
It's like
half
2
per
per 3
box.
boxes, I
Yes.
think.
So like I don't think that's enough to really do anything
3
to
per
their
2.
value. Like it's kind of like a whatever change. Like th- I feel like they probably ran out of ideas and they were like, let's just do this. Um,
Yeah,
but like it's kind of whatever.
yeah. Either or, like a vast majority, all positive things.
Yeah.
It's very clear that they're listening to feedback. It seemed like it was I don't know, like every single the chat was like the most negative the chat had ever been. There was like
Yeah.
so many people being very upset, and then once they
Well, that's
started
because Swoo's
announcing
dying.
every change, right. Once they started announcing every change, it was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. Oh my god, oh my god, they're doing that too. Like it was
Yeah.
just like positivity, positivity, positivity after every single thing that they said that they were changing. So
Yeah. True. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I would find it hard for anyone to find any complaint with what they did on the stream. I agree with Ian that I would love for Carbonite to not exist. I'm not the person that enjoys that product. My Captain Tim is the person that's all he consumes is, the very fancy cards. So he enjoyed everything that they talked about and they went over. So I give them props. The only one thing is that they kind of teased a little bit of the thing I would love to hear them talk about, which they said like one line. They didn't give any confirmation on it, but they were discussing the rarity of certain cards and like the sets going forward, but they didn't give us any confirmation on that.
yeah,
I
Danny said
would
that they are working on making legendaries better, and by the end of the year we should see it.
Well,
I
Not
would
that
7, they said that we should
Yeah,
start seeing that
yeah.
start seeing
somewhat.
some of it in
Yeah.
7, but I think like 8 and
When you
9
open
might
a
have
legendary,
more.
it should be the best. I hope they just whatever they're doing right now, they give up on that. They just make the good cards, rares and legendaries. It'll fix so much situations. Like it'll work still fine and limited. Like you
Yeah.
just shove more commons on commons and it's fine. But I just need my things to not be like, the best card is an uncommon.
Or
This
a
should just be the
common.
legendary.
Yeah.
Like someone made an example that like Karis Nemec's like his like blueprints or whatever is like a legendary, and while he's only a rare, and like those should have just been swapped, or the blueprint could have just been a random card, like a common or uncommon.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
very weird.
Yeah, like the carbonite stuff. I don't mind the carbonite stuff. I think it's a great idea. What I hate is that there's so much of it. Like there's
Yeah,
so
they need to
much
cut the
of
print
it.
run.
Yes, like
Yeah.
do serialize out of 50. Like do them all out of 50. That's even too many. Maybe do them all out of like 25. And then like how many carbonates there are, and it's actually like a product that's going to be worth something. Like
And
because
have
there's
like
so
one of
much.
each. They should do like one of each card has like a signature of
Yeah,
like
sure.
the artist
Yeah.
or something.
That'd
Like
be like awesome. They could be one of ones. Like that's really cool. It's just there's so much of it. That's why these stores are complaining. Like, hey, I have all this carbonite that I'm sitting on. I can't sell. It's like, yeah, that's because every store in the country has this problem because there's so much of it. But anyway, maybe they'll fix that. Moving forward. CJ, what do you think?
The change is fine. Carbonite sucks. Shouldn't exist. I was a huge like when they announced that it was coming.
Yeah,
I was
I know
so
you were
doom and gloom
against
about it, and everyone's like, "Why?" It's like the player base. We do not have the player base to support this product. We are not Magic the Gathering. Even they can almost barely support it. Like,
Mhm.
and it's close. And it's like for us, it's just like why it's corporate greed is what it is. It's they need to show that their product's making money so that the higher ups who don't understand the product can agree to sign off on it. I understand all that. Like I understand how corporations work, I understand how money works. This is not a consumer friendly product. It's not good for the players. Like for me, the best solution would be keep the cool prestiges and the serialized cards, throw them in regular booster boxes, call it a day. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why that's so hard to do. It would actually incentivize probably more limited play at local stores because more people want to open the packs and try to get cool stuff. More people will go on a weekly basis. You'll end up selling more product, right? And like that's it. We don't have the ecosystem that Magic does to support this product. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, but
Ex-
those
Like
are
I go to my
great
local store,
points.
he still has them on the shelf, and like
Same.
he doesn't
Yeah.
adjust prices to TCG players. So he's like $200 a box or something crazy. No one's gonna buy that, and then they're like disillusioned and don't want to purchase it in the future. But it's just like we don't have the ecosystem for this product. Get rid of it. It's cool you tried it. Call it a day. Like
Yeah.
go
No,
focus on something.
those are great points. I can't really argue that. Like, still I like the product, but like I just wish it would have been rolled out differently. Like the way they did it, it almost feels like there's as much carbonite as there are regular boxes, and like they just don't mesh that way. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, Mickey, what do you think?
Yeah, I think overall I like the changes a lot. I'm also glad they didn't do too much. Like I had people in a local Discord talking about like wanting all these overhauls and drastic changes, and I'm like, let's get the bases down first. Let's keep it simple. I agree with everyone else. Like I am also a carbonite enjoyer. I like to open the carbonite, but I also agree it's bad for the game. Like we see the showcase prices mirror that perfectly. Of like showcases are $50 a week after release for
Yeah.
the less desired leaders because there's so many of them. And like you said, oftentimes less is more because like you're less likely to open certain cards, sure, but when you do, it feels so much better. Even like opening my carbonite boxes I got this time, I opened a showcase and it wasn't even like super exciting. It was
Yeah.
it was good, but I opened a Bail Organa showcase. And I'm like, that's cool. All right, put it in the sleeve, go next.
Yeah.
But you want to. I remember back in like even back in set 3, I opened like a flip Palpatine showcase, and I was super excited just because there's no other product. It was hard to get, and it was like a unique design at that point as well.
I have a core memory opening Boba 1
Yeah,
showcase in my first case with me and my
a
brother.
local of
We
mine.
went nuts. We went
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
a local of mine, Brad. His first pack ever in his first pre-release kit was a Cassian showcase. And there's even some like negative memories, the wrong term, but like bad beat stories of like, oh, I got a box of Spark and back when it was hard to get, and I only got an IG showcase, but that's still like a fun story and like something you tell people just because it's like the rarity of it is there.
Yeah.
um
Showcases
yeah.
should never be $20 or
Yeah.
less. I don't know what Rose showcases are now. I have 4 Rose Tico showcases
Mhm,
that it's the only showcase I could open from JTL. I have 4 of them,
mhm.
and like I couldn't sell all 4 of them for $50
Yeah.
probably, and it's just
uh
that should never happen.
Two more quick points. One, I do really like the OP pack changes. Even like whether you like them or you dislike them, I think majority of people like the change. It's gonna get butts and seats because people are gonna want to go to events to get these cool new frames and these new OP packs. So that's
Yeah,
like
I
another
agree.
step in terms of getting local attendance up. Um, why am I forgetting my last point? It's been one of those days today. Oh,
Long episode.
yeah, it's been oh sure they have more hyperspace cards in the packs and hyperspace walls and stuff, but Tyler hit on it. I'm not gonna care if I'm opening planetary invasions and invasion of Christophsis. If I'm opening Luke's invaders more hyperspace, then I'm gonna get really excited. So like
Yeah,
the pack changes are nice, but we do need to the quality of the cards also needs to increase.
yeah, I agree. That's gonna wrap up this show. We're about 10 minutes over, so I hope you're still watching. But CJ, you have proved to be victorious. I think your points on that last topic were really good. So well deserved victory.
Well deserved.
What do you have to say?
Go pack, go.
Oh, Pack.
Go Pecco!
Go
Let's
back,
go!
go!
Go Pecco!
The ultimate
Fuck the Bears,
call
dude.
sign.
Yeah, sports. Woo, sports.
Woo,
Yeah.
sports ball.
All right, that's going to be it for this week. We might try to fit one in next week. If not, we won't be back until after Christmas. So if we see a great, good luck in your PQs, Ian. I'll see you in a couple days.
Yes,
And
sir.
thanks for watching.
See ya.